Snap.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starting 11 here on the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia. I'm joined by Fares, making his return to Starting 11. How are you today, Fares?
One moment. Dang it. I was too slow. I was too slow.
I might need a day off. I think I called Paris.
I'm doing good. I was too slow.
Too slow.
I'm too slow.
Too slow.
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm happy. I just realized I could have worn one of my international soccer jerseys that I bought. I have a Spain one. I could have wore that tonight. Literally when you're hitting the intro, I was like, oh, what? I could have been wearing a I could have worn a kit right now.
I'm wearing the Starting 11 hoodie that you can get at letsgetreadynetworkshop.com. I thought about wearing my U.S. men's national team jersey, but I decided to wait until we talk about Copa America for that. Yeah. So Fares and I will be.
I need a new U.S. men's national team jersey. The one I bought is a little small.
Okay.
I got fat.
Yeah. Fares and I are going to be doing these shows, sometimes pre-recorded, maybe sometimes live, depending on what works out better. Recapping the Euros and the Copa America once that gets underway, until the tournaments are over. So thank you for being here, Fares. Shug was in the chat saying I'm here for the best damn soccer show. Thank you, Shug.
I like me a good international tournament. Big fan of the international tournaments. I mean, you see people who don't really shine or don't get the shine during club season because they play at a club you don't watch, or they play in a league you don't care for. A lot of people only care about the English Premier League, and a lot of people so a lot of people are going to find out a lot about the Serie A people. They're going to find out a lot about the Bundesliga people, and they're going to find out a lot about and like for Austria, most of the starting lineup is either RB Leipzig or RB Salzburg. They're part of the Red Bull family. I think the only one that I know that isn't is David Alaba, that I know for a fact isn't, but most of them are a part of the art. So you're gonna start seeing a lot of names that you don't recognize or recognize. A lot of youngsters making it. Like in the Turkey game, the Turkey has two very, very promising youngsters that play today. And then you have you have the Frances, the Englands, and stuff like that. You're gonna find out a lot about people. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Shug is asking if you're a fan of the International Pancake.
I've never been to IHOP.
Okay. Neither have I. So
yeah, me either. The only time I've ever heard about IHOP is when my cousin ate at IHOP, then he had appendicitis like a week later. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about IHOP and let's talk about this tournament. The Euros got underway on Friday with Germany absolutely battering Scotland 5-1. Scotland with a red card to Ryan Porteous in the 44th minute for a horrendous tackle in the box that gives away a penalty. Kai Havertz converts the penalty. That made it 3-0 Germany at that point. They played the whole second half up a man, scored 2 more, a stunning strike from Nicholas Füllkrug, made it 4, and then Scotland got one back with an own goal from Antoine Rudiger.
Their leading scorer to this tournament, Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah, and then it was a really impressive performance from Germany in their opener, which they needed, I think, because so many people had questions about Germany coming into this tournament.
I was on the internet, and there's a video that said, don't underestimate the Germans, and it's just constantly people saying, don't underestimate the Germans, or don't write off the Germans, and a lot of people are writing off the Germans, and then it's just videos of don't do it, because every international tournament, barring 2014 and 2018, 2018 and 2022, because in 2014 they won the World Cup. They're always in the mix, and usually they don't beat themselves. You have to beat them. You know what I mean? Like I remember during the World Cup in Qatar in 2022, where Spain thought they were cruising to a victory, then 2-2, like that. They're new manager.
Julian Nagelsmann,
a former Bayern Munich manager who was fired not because he's a bad manager, is because he didn't fit the culture they wanted to portray themselves publicly, and they thought it wasn't about his soccer acumen or any of that. It was mostly petty public facing reasons where it's like, we don't like that you skateboard to work type things. And they tried to hire him back. The new regime at Bayern Munich was like, y'all are stupid. We need him back. They went to try to steal him back, but the German FA was like, no, you can't have him, because he's actually fixed Germany. Because sad fun fact, Hansi Flick is the first German manager to be fired.
Yeah, Hansi Flick was not a good fit for the German manager.
Yeah. So Julian Nagelsmann is kind of playing a free-flowing style, making Joshua Kimmich play the position he wants. He wants to play fullback with the invert, and that's what he's doing. He's playing right back with the invert, and they're playing with 2 10s, basically. Shout out to Enya Aluko, who was on, I think, ITV, where she said this is what England should do, should play. We'll talk about England later. Should be play with the 2 10s, basically. That's what Germany's doing. They're playing with the 2 10s out wide, and, because they have Ilkay Gundogan and Toni Kroos playing the holding sixes. The sixes, and the 2 10s coming inside with Musiala and Florian Wirtz. So they basically take turns going forward and back. They basically take turns, right? Oh, Flo's up there. Let me drop back a little. Oh, Jamal's up there. They kind of flow back and forth, knowing that the 2 men behind them, Ilkay Gundogan and Toni Kroos, are going to stay there and patrol the middle of the field. And I like what Ilkay Gundogan said earlier a couple of days ago. Well, before the tournament started, a couple days before the tournament. Shout out to Alexis Guerrero on Morning Foot. He revealed this. They asked him about the Wonderkinds, Jamal and Florian. They asked him about that, and he says, "We have to adapt to them. They don't have to adapt to us." Basically admitting that I'm the captain. Everyone knows I'm the captain, but they're the future, and we must follow the way they operate. So your leaders, your veteran leadership is saying, be the guy. Be them. You are Miroslav Klose and Thomas Müller in 2014, basically. That's who you are. We will go as far as you two take this. So imagine you're a 20-year-old youngster. You're one of your first major tournaments. Starting by the way, because I think Jamal was in the World Cup in 2022, but he started and wasn't really like another major tournament. Flo's first major tournament. The veteran leadership are telling you, you're a 20-year-old, saying like, you are the future, you are the key, you are the reason we will win if you play well. Imagine the confidence you have as a 20-year-old when Ilkay Gundogan, who's won everything known to man underneath the sun in club football, who was the game changer at Manchester City, everyone knows it, says to the media publicly, we will go as far as them as they take this. We will adapt to them. You're Jamal Musiala in your hotel room hearing, yo, my captain is saying I'm the man.
Yep.
You know how much confidence that imposes on you and Flo? Immense confidence. Immense confidence. Yeah.
They're the Wonderkins. They're the future, and Germany looks like they're going to be pretty good in this tournament. Although Scotland were awful, and it got worse with the red card. So, interesting to see how Scotland responds after this. I believe their next game is against Switzerland.
Yeah, played very well against Hungary.
Switzerland played well against Hungary, winning 3-1. So what I wanted to talk about with that game is not a lot of people got to watch it in the United States. because it was one of the 5 matches that got sub-licensed to Fubo by Fox.
Yep.
These 5 matches, you want to watch these 5 specific matches in the Euros, you have to pay Fubo $80 for the month.
But you know what's crazy is that
did they do this?
Here's the funny thing, right? They're not going to do that to Copa America.
No, they're not going to do that to Copa America.
They can't do that to Copa America because the USSF would have an issue. I don't understand. Fox buys the rights, put them on your channels.
They have 3 channels they could put these on.
They have 3 channels, and 2 of them had fishing on there.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And in Fox's, people are trying to defer, like, oh, but viewership is up 31%. That's not the complaint we're making.
No.
We're making is that you want us to buy another streaming service for 5 games. 5 games for $80. But but just sign up for the free trial. Man, get out of my face. 5
Not
games.
everybody can sign up for the free trial.
Yeah. 5 games. You couldn't find 5 slots to do 5 games. You couldn't interrupt a fishing event for the world.
If they didn't want to put this on the networks, fine. Put it on your own goddamn app.
Yeah.
They have an app that you can just download and sign in with your cable subscription or whatever you have and get Fox. And you can watch stuff on there all the time. I watch stuff on there all the time. Put it on your own app that I don't have to pay for.
I don't understand. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. There, there's the reports of how they've obtained the soccer rights in America through illegal insider trading. Not good. So like, a lot of people are not, a lot of people are scared for Copa America. A lot of people hated the 2022 World Cup broadcasts. You know what I mean?
I'm hating the Euros broadcast so far because the studio shows are from Los Angeles for some reason.
That makes no sense. They flew Europeans to LA
for the
to do a show about the Euros.
Yeah.
Jules
Breach
I like
the people that they've brought in for this. I like Jules Breach a lot. I like Chiellini. I like Schmeichel. Sturridge not so much, but he's only been on a couple times. But Ari Hinkst is always good on the Fox broadcasts. It's not the European part of this. It's the fact that it's in Los Angeles, and then you're mixing in Alexi Lawless and Stu Holden. And today we had Rob Stone, and I was just like,
I don't understand that.
I hate this.
Like Jules works for TNT Sports. Schmeichel works for CBS in London, but he also shows up on other European broadcasts. Why are you flying the people who work in Europe to LA to cover the Euros? Fly them to Germany.
Peter Schmeichel was on the coverage of a game featuring his son playing for Denmark, and he wasn't there. He was in Los Angeles. Like, why does that make sense to somebody?
It makes no sense. And I don't say, but they'd be like, oh, but we're trying to cut costs. Like, who cares? It's presentation. You got to make things feel important. It's broadcasting 101.
ESPN, who has had the Euros for a number of the past tournaments that I don't remember them being on Fox before. I think this is Fox's first year with the Euros.
Yeah, they are.
Would have had an entire studio crew. If not there would have been a lot more reporters there, and at least I will say for the Fox broadcast is that the commentators appear to be there.
Yes, they are
at the stadiums.
Yes, they are. Landon Donovan, Ian Dark.
ESPN would have a much better production and presentation.
Yeah, because connecting to another world sport, basketball, the ESPN did not make the NBA Finals seem like a major event. They didn't broadcast it like the major event. Like broadcasting 101, you got to make this is a major event. This is the second biggest international competition behind the World Cup because of the sheer number of participants, because of the Euros. The Euros have a lot of people. Copa America, some years it involves the Northern American countries and some years it doesn't. So sometimes it fluctuates on participants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Euros is basically the second, biggest international competition in the world, and it doesn't feel like it sometimes. It doesn't feel like it sometimes. But But I digress.
And I will say the Fubo broadcast of Hungary versus Switzerland was awful. They didn't even have the score bug on the screen. So
Finally
you had
fixed
no idea
it.
what the score was. You had no idea what the time was. They fixed that, thankfully.
Mhm.
But it was awful presentation. And
They changed it too.
Fox, they should be, yeah.
No, they changed the scoreboard. You know how like the scoreboard was blue for the Turkey Georgia game, Georgia game. It was red. It was like a different graphic.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Does Wout Weghorst only score late goals for the Dutch, Fares?
Absolutely, yes, he does. The most hated man in Argentina, Wout Weghorst. Yeah, when Lionel Messi hates your guts, the entire country of Argentina hates your guts. So, have you seen those? I think it was the World Cup documentary where it was like captains of the world or something about.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah. So they show behind the scenes of the Argentina Netherlands game, and Wout is such an instigator. The Argentina Netherlands game was just complete and utter madness. You know, you have the ball kicked into the bench. You had Edgar Davies telling Lionel Messi to calm the hell down, and Lionel Messi calmly telling Edgar Davies to go to hell. And it was all crazy. And like Wout was talking smack the entire game. Found out Wout was talking smack the entire game. So then Wout tries to go shake Lionel Messi's hand after the game, and Lionel Messi's like basically tells him to piss off and screw you. He's like, I know what you're doing. Okay, piss off. It's amazing. So
Wout Weghorst comes on as a substitute, scores in the 83rd minute to clinch a 2-1 victory for the Netherlands over Poland. I didn't see very much of this particular game, but when I saw that Wout had scored a late winner again, I was like, this is his thing.
That's his thing. It's his thing.
Of course it was him.
Yeah, but you know, early on, a lot of the big names, you know, have been kind of unimpressing, right? You know, like I wasn't really impressed by the Netherlands. We'll talk about the French a little bit later. The English, you know, those are three of the major, like, you know, could win this tournament because of their depth. You know, they weren't Spain impressive, you know, or so there's that, because Spain, you know, they finally won in a different way that shocked people.
Spain looked incredible against Croatia
because they won in a way where they finally lost the possession battle, which was, I think, 137 international games in a row where they won the possession battle. And this is the first time they lost the possession battle, and they won 3-0. You know, so it's, you know, so they kind of, so make sure, you know, the Spanish, you know, look at the Spanish, you know, watch out for them. We'll see if they've kind of fixed their back line. I think their back line is still a little suspect, but you know, every year you can make sure they have a great midfield, always, forever. They produce midfielders like the T'Chucks produce hockey players. You know, like it's just the way it is. That, you know, the international soccer community has no idea why I made that comparison. But
no, they don't.
They don't. Like they produce some like it ain't nothing, man. It's like factory made Twinkies. You know what I mean? It's just like on a conveyor belt. But now, you know, and they have the big nine. They always have the big nine, the big target man, striker nine. It's the wingers are now more dynamic. You know, there's a lot of dynamism. You know, they're different. They're different. Dynamism. They were different. Cucurella was great.
Wrong.
Cucurella, he just said Cucurella was great.
Cucurella was great. I mean, he was better than he was for Chelsea. I'll say that much.
What does that mean, Mark? What does that mean, Rob? It means nothing, basically. You know, Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, Lamine
Yamal set a record as being the youngest player to have ever featured in a Euro tournament.
You know,
16 years, 338 days. If he makes it to the final, it'll be the day after his 17th birthday.
Yeah, and Josip Guardiola, Manchester City's $100 million defender, which nowadays means absolutely nothing because they have like 4 of them. Even though they bought Manuel Kanji for $40 million, but it doesn't. I digress. He couldn't keep up with the 16-year-old. There were moments where he was struggling with him. and it shows that he's a little different. It means you didn't watch the last half dozen Chelsea matches. I didn't have to. I watched the Arsenal match where we beat you 5-0. It wasn't a very good defense that day.
That's the last Chelsea match I think I watched fully through was the Arsenal 5-0 win over Chelsea.
Yeah, every single one of your defenders was like, "What's defense? Is that Kai Havertz running past me again? Oh, hey Kai, he's on my team. No, he isn't. Not anymore."
Fares. Bringing it back to the Spain game, Unai Simon saved a penalty in this game as well to preserve the shutout. Spain looked great. One of the most complete performances we've seen from a team so far in this tournament.
Yes, I think. Absolutely. Nice corral in the box for Ruiz for his initial goal. He had to corral
Ruiz was great.
Yeah, he had to corral it in between two Croatians, and then he sliced it. It was a tremendous goal.
Let's talk about Christian Eriksen. Before the Denmark-Slovenia game, Fox aired a beautiful package on the broadcast about what happened to Christian Eriksen in Euro 2020, which for those who don't know or don't remember, he basically died on the pitch and then was revived. And then it was a very beautiful video package from Fox. I will give them credit for that one. Not much else on this broadcast, but I will give them credit for that one. Then they go to the game and Christian Eriksen scores 17 minutes in. It was poetic. It was really poetic. But Slovenia were fantastic in this match.
Yes.
And
they could have won. They could have won.
They scored an equalizer in the 77th minute, but really pushed for a winner. And this game ended as a 1-1 draw.
Benjamin Šeško had this one screamer from outside the box that just smacks the far post, and literally just inches. If it curves a little inch to the left, it goes in.
Kasper Schmeichel had no chance on that one if it had gotten in. Exactly. He had no chance on the Slovenia goal either because of the deflection.
Yep.
But
it was actually an overall good match by both goalies, in my opinion, because we have Oblak from, I believe, Atletico Madrid, and then we have Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel being a part of the famous Leicester City group who won the Premier League title. Another one of the Leicester City mainstays actually showed up big time in another one of these European games. We'll talk about him a little bit later. The man who smiles. The only rival player that I cannot hate ever. It's not possible for me to do it, but I'll reveal who it was a little bit later on when we talk about people. But yeah, it was a tremendous game. I think Denmark should be better than this because they have they have better players in a sense. They have
better players than Slovenia.
Rasmus Højlund. They have Rasmus Højlund. They have Joe Michic Anderson, who is Crystal Palace's center back. We'll also talk about another Crystal Palace center back. Joachim. We'll also talk about another Crystal Palace center back who played very well in another Euro game. I'm teasing. You see how I'm teasing, Adelia? Look, I'm teasing. Yeah.
But let's just keep going.
But I just expect a little bit more from them. Slovenia has Benjamin Šeško, but I'm not saying they have nothing else, but I haven't seen them have anything else but Benjamin Šeško.
Yeah.
So that's it.
All right, let's move on and talk about England. They started well against Serbia. Bellingham heads in a deflected cross from Bukayo Saka 13 minutes in, and that completes the scoring of the game. But it doesn't complete the story of the game because Serbia came back into this game and England just looked all over the place in the second half. This was not a good performance from England overall. But you cannot argue that they did enough to get the 3 points and get the victory.
Without 110%. In the first half, it was staunch defending early on by England. But then, but I think what Serbia did is that they played the first half saying, what is England doing? And basically, I think the Serbian manager basically said he's not going to adjust. I'm gonna adjust to him, and he's not gonna adjust because he's not a good
That's
manager.
Gareth Southgate's biggest weakness is he doesn't adjust enough.
Exactly. So the Serbian manager, I don't know his name. He basically said, "This man isn't gonna adjust. It isn't. He isn't gonna do it because he doesn't know how to do it, and he screwed." And in the second half, it was all Serbia. It was all Serbia. But then that's why I want to point out. Speaking of Crystal Palace defenders, Mark Gahey. As I was watching this match, I made fun of him. Yes, I did. And I was saying like, why this is, I don't understand why they don't have Ben White, even though he's a fullback. He's probably their best, some of their best center backs. But Mark Gahey played great. He played very well.
He did.
And that back line played extremely well. They didn't push forward. They were kind of like a 1990s, 80s back line where they played defense. They stayed back and played defense. There wasn't no fullbacks going up. It wasn't a lot of that. It was, there was the overlapping run by Kyle Walker that he could have scored a goal once, but in the second half, it was a lot of, we're playing defense, and Mark Gahey was one of the main components of it. And shout out to him. And it just proves to me, man, how it's the offense for England. It's fixable. It's really fixable. Here it is.
Yeah.
You play the 2 8s and Foden and Jude, and you make Declan Rice the holding 6. That's it, right? And then you have Jude and Phil interchange. Go up, forward, go up, forward, go up, forward, go up, forward. And then in the desperate times, they both go forward, and they have Declan coming in supporting them behind, like when they want to go all out attack. Then on the left wing, you can have Cole Palmer or Anthony Gordon, whoever. I don't care. You know what I mean? You have them, whatever. That's how you fix it. But the thing is, you don't have Trent Alexander-Arnold playing. But guess what? He doesn't know how to play midfield because he's never played it before.
Trent Alexander-Arnold should not have started this game in the midfield.
Yeah, because he's playing a position he's never played. He has no idea. He doesn't know the positioning. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what his midfield running backs are doing because he's never played midfield with Jude and Declan. So he doesn't know if should I go forward or back. What is Declan doing? He doesn't know. He knows how to play fullback. Not well, but that's the position he's comfortable in because he knows it. And I'm not saying he's a bad Trent Alexander-Arnold. Here's my thing with Trent Alexander-Arnold. When people talk about him, when he plays fullback, they only talk about his service, the set pieces, him attacking forward, the crossing, the overlap play. It's always the offensive game of the fullback, the modern day fullback. But there's one thing about fullbacks, Adelia, that I think people get lost in this. It's crazy to me. This crazy thing that I want my fullbacks to do, Adelia. Call me a psycho if you want to. You got to know how to play defense.
Yeah.
You're a fullback. You're a defender first. You can make the overlapping runs, which are nice and cool and wonderful. But if you don't know how to defend, you're screwed. That's why they're putting him in the midfield. Be like, we can kind of hide him. You can't hide him because you think midfielders don't play defense?
I don't know what they're doing with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fares.
Yeah, he shouldn't be playing. The fullback should be Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier, yes. But really, the fullback should be Ben White should be there. But unfortunately, Gareth Southgate would rather have his annoying assistant who pisses off his players than actually one of the best fullbacks in England, who can also play center back if you need him to. But he's now become a properly trained fullback. And then you don't have to worry about, is my fullback not going to be able to play defense? Because your fullback will be able to play defense because Ben White's playing defense. And Kyle Walker, phenomenal player. But he's getting up there in age. He's on the other side of 30. And his main key, Adelia, I think you can agree with me, is he's fast. His recovery speed. He's very, very quick. But guess what? As you get older, what do you lose? You lose your speed. You lose your speed and your athleticism. Same thing with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's fast. He can recover. He's fast. But as you get older, you lose athleticism and speed. And then you finally realize, like, I've never been a good defender. I was just fast. And that's the same thing. Ben White's a proper defender. And he's in Ibiza having a grand old time, chilling.
Good for him.
Good for him. But he should be at the Euros because they really need him.
Here's the thing, Fares. Even if he was at the Euros, I don't think he'd be playing.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Let's
Problem is the
move on
midfield.
from England.
Problem is the midfield. Is their midfield?
Phil Foden was awful in this game as well, by the way. Snark says they were afraid of Serbia. It certainly seemed that way to an extent.
Yeah,
Mitrovic, obviously a great goal scorer for Serbia, but
was taken off.
Serbia should not have threatened. Serbia should not have threatened England, and England were awful in the second half. Let's talk about another team.
I don't know why Serbia didn't. I don't know why Serbia didn't play two strikers. They played kind of like a 3-4-2-1, which is why do you have Dusan Vlahovic?
I don't
understand.
know. I don't understand either.
Yeah.
Fares, yes, rant about Belgium, please.
Oh my God! Don't even. Oh my God! Oh my
Belgium
God!
loses 1-0 to Slovakia. Belgium gonna Belgium.
Belgium's gonna Belgium. Every 4 years, I'm Belgian, and every 4 years, I'm disappointed because sweet mother molasses. They talk about this golden generation of Belgium, right? This golden generation. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, that was no such thing as a golden generation of Belgium. Their golden generation was one man. It was one man. And then he got injured, and then he ended up getting fat. And then he stopped being the golden generation. You know what I mean? It was
Dzeko?
No, Dzeko.
Not Dzeko.
Eden Hazard.
I thought Eden for a minute.
Yeah.
And out came
Eden
Dzeko when I meant Hazard.
That's Bosnia's golden generation. Eden Dzeko.
Yeah. I meant Hazard. Hazard.
Shout out to Bosnia. They made a World Cup once. Good for them. Eden Hazard was their golden generation. He was the cog. He was it.
Snark
but, yep. It started and ended with him, absolutely, because they don't care. They don't care.
I will say Belgium did get the ball in the back of the net twice in this game. Both were ruled out, one for offside, one for a handball. Both decisions were correct.
Yes.
To be ruled out. So it's not like they didn't score, but they didn't score any that counted.
But here's the thing too, Adelia. They could have scored like 6 goals. And when I say they, I mean him. Lukaku is having a massive problem now. It's not even so. Tedesco, 14 games as Belgium's manager, 14 games prior to this tournament, 14 games, includes Euro qualifying and all the other friendlies.
Yeah.
Didn't lose a single game.
Yeah.
Unbeaten in 14 games. They were
this
scoring.
This number has probably gone up now, but in the middle of that game, they said Belgium hadn't converted any of their last 43 shots in a major tournament.
It went up to 66. Yeah. So 14 games unbeaten. They were scoring goals. Lukaku was scoring goals. Leandro Trossard was scoring goals. There's no, everything was flowing. But when they get into a major tournament, when the lights are bright, they just completely shut down. Romelu Lukaku, and that's the problem with Romelu Lukaku, right? When the lights are not on him, he does amazing. Him at Everton, when no one cared, scoring goals left and right. Chelsea buys him. Chelsea, we hate Chelsea, but let's not act like they're not a massive club now. Big club, lights are on him. Falters. They send him to Italy. Like they banish him to Italy. Basically, they're like, get out of here. The lights are not on him. He's at Inter. Boom. Balls out at Inter. Chelsea then says, come back. Lights are back on him. Can't do nothing. Send him back to Inter. But now the lights are on at Inter because people are realizing we need to put more spotlight on Serie A and people are watching Serie A. Guess what happens at Inter? He plays well, but not good enough because they get into the Champions League. Lights are bright. Champions League final. There is a goal right there. He's staring at the goal and he heads it right into his teammate's leg.
I have never seen a player miss so many wide open golden chances in back-to-back major tournament games as Lukaku did in this game and the last game Belgium played in the World Cup in 2022. It's insane how many chances he missed just in those 2 games alone.
Mm-hmm. It's insane, man. Oh, Manchester City bought him, not Chelsea. My bad. Everton, of course, Manchester City bought the Everton player. They always do that. It happens all the time. But yeah, it's insane, man. He's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, Snark's correct. Also, too, like, what the hell is Leandro Trossard doing? What the hell is he doing? What's his job? What's his role?
Their coach is very young. I think they said on the broadcast that he's like 37 years old.
Yeah, Thibaut Courtois is older than him.
Yeah. So this is a coach that, because of a conflict with Thibaut Courtois, meant they don't have Thibaut Courtois for this tournament.
It's also a conflict with someone else on the Belgian national team as well, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so,
I just Belgium is all I can say, because they do this every 4 years or every 2 years, really, because it's the World Cup and the Euro cycle.
Yeah, and people talk about, like, oh, Courtois would have saved that goal. I don't think Courtois would have saved the goal, but Courtois wouldn't have put himself in the position to make that goal a possibility, because he would have distributed the ball better, because the goalie basically kind of sent it out, and then Slovakia stole it away and then kind of corralled it back and like smacked it. The goal couldn't be saved by Thibaut, but Thibaut wouldn't have distributed the ball so poorly to be in the position of the goal being, you know what I mean? So they'd be like, oh, Thibaut would have stopped that goal. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have put Belgium in the position to concede that goal. That's the difference. And, it's, and then, but here's the thing too, like, the game changed when they brought in Johan Bakayoko and Luis Openda. So it changed. The dynamic changed. The Openda, even though it was his hand who hit even though it was inadvertent, it's still a handball. He created that goal.
He used his hand to control the ball, whether it was inadvertent meant to or not.
Exactly. But he helped create that goal for Rolomu. So no offense to Leandro Trossard, he shouldn't start next game. Because the team is different when Openda's in the game. In Openda, I think you can play winger and the 9. Go old school, go 4-4-2 if you have to. You know what I mean? Play that.
I don't think anybody plays 4-4-2 anymore, Fares.
No, they don't. It's either a 3-5-2 or a 4-4-3 or 4-3-3. It's you're right. I'm back in my 90s games. But yeah, so they're mentally broken. I think Romelu Lukaku is mentally broken. I think Romelu Lukaku is mentally broken. And now he has to go back to a club who doesn't want him. And he's like, now where am I going to play next year? Am I going to be unemployed? Am I going to be sent on loan again? He could be sent to Napoli because Roberto Mancini is now, Antonio Conte is now at Napoli, and Antonio Conte is the reason he was at Inter in the first place. He loves him, some Romelu Lukaku. Could Antonio Conte save Romelu Lukaku? Possibly. We don't know. But one thing we need to do, Romelu Lukaku needs to save himself.
I honestly don't care about Romelu Lukaku and the club game. It just can't believe that he just keeps missing chances for Belgium. And it wasn't just him, it was the whole team.
Yeah.
And like I said, he did put the ball in the back of the net twice.
And his team failed him.
His team failed him.
But yeah. So you know what? Switch it up. Start Johan Bakayoko or start Jeremy Doku and Openda. Doku and Openda, some type of diamond.
Doku was not very good in this game.
Then you know what? Switch it up. Go Johan Bakayoko and Luis Openda. Switch it up. And here's the thing. We talked about a lot about, Cesc Fabregas and Cesc. Don't do it. Don't do it. I got it.
I'm not.
All right. Cesc, on BBC, they were talking about Phil Foden and how he didn't play very good and he has to want it more. He has to be the engine to want it more. Guess who should also be being told, do you want it more? Kevin De Bruyne has been a massive disappointment, period, because he's like this. They talked about how Phil Foden is a system player. and how he can't operate outside of Pep's system, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you want to talk about who's a real system player, a real one. Kevin De Bruyne. Apparently, he stops when he puts on that Belgium shirt. Every international window deal, it seems like he forgets how to play soccer. He's like, "What is football? What is this thing I have to kick? What is what is this? What are we playing?" He doesn't know what to do. He has no idea what to do. He's like, "What am I doing? Who do I pass to? What is going on?" Because they're playing.
I don't think it's quite that bad, Fares, but
yeah, well, it's quite that bad compared to what we expect from him. In my opinion, it's pretty bad. What I expect from him.
I'm not saying he's playing well because he didn't play well, but he doesn't forget what football is, Fares.
Now, of course, I'm speaking in hyperbole. Of course,
I know.
I mean, if you want some pragmatic analysis, go talk to Snark. You know what I mean? You're talking to me here, man. Come on. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah, he's like, he should take the reins of this team and say, "Yo, get back here. This is how we gonna play."
Yeah.
But he just stands there and does nothing because he's not a real leader. He isn't, because at Manchester City, the real leader is Pep Guardiola. He tells you what to do. He says, "This is what you do. You just wear that captain's armband because it's symbolic, but this is what you're gonna do. This is what you do."
Why are we talking about Man City?
Yeah, because we're talking about Kevin De Bruyne and how he apparently should take over the Belgian national team. Take the reins. Be like, we gotta come back. Don't say in like the World Cup when you say, "Oh yeah, we suck because our defense is old." Yeah. And then have your old defenders say, "No, we suck because our midfielders suck."
Okay, Fares. Yeah.
Be a leader.
Thank you for the rant.
Sorry.
But we're gonna move on so that we can get this done in under an hour. Okay?
Yeah, okay. That's not happening, but sure.
I mean, we're not covering absolutely everything because I haven't seen absolutely everything. Okay. I was going to move on to Kylian Mbappe's got a broken nose.
Yep. Yes, he does.
He jumped up to head a ball and his face was met by the shoulder of one of the Austrian players.
Danso.
And there was a lot of blood they showed on TV and various photographs on newspapers. Mbappe is not going to play in the Netherlands, France's second game against the Netherlands.
He could.
He's not. They ruled him out.
Oh, okay.
They ruled him out of the game against the Netherlands. He might play their final group game.
Yeah.
Against Poland. But Austria were pretty tenacious in this match.
Oh.
Very physical.
Tremendous.
And for all of France's attacking threat and everything, it's an own goal. Let's win 1-0.
Let's talk about the real things about France. All right. Their attackers suck. All right. Outside of Kylian Mbappe. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how bad Ousmane Dembele, Rando Koumani are. They're not very good. All right. And Marcus Thuram, it will play out of position. Marcus Thuram's a 9. Okay. Marcus Thuram is a 9. Why the hell is he playing winger? But he ended up playing the 9 because him and Mbappe likes to do that little switch thing where he starts out left. Yeah. And he like comes in, and he's, he does the little switch and then they go back and forth. Yeah. The right side. What is Mbappe, a left winger or right winger? What is he?
It don't really.
It doesn't matter. The other wing is absolutely garbage. He's a void of whatever he is. He's a big disappointment for the price tags he gets bought for, and even forget the price tags. He doesn't produce. Period. He doesn't produce. Period. Barcelona, nothing. PSG, nothing. Borussia Dortmund. What did he do?
I did enough.
He did enough. Yeah, but he also had the Borussia Dortmund stamp, which overflates people's value. You know what I mean? It overflates it. And then there's people who are justifiably $100 million, like Jude Bellingham, or it gets sold slightly less by 75 million, or 50 million for Erling Haaland. But Ousmane Dembele, what is he? What is he? What is he? I don't know what he is.
This was not a good performance from Dembele.
Not at all.
This was a fantastic performance from N'Golo Kante.
Oh my God!
Back in the French team for the first time in 2 years.
Speaking of another Leicester City mainstay. like I talked about. Tremendous output.
Fantastic in this game.
It's amazing. He does not know what being tired means. And in that midfield, Adelia, it's literally the 2018 midfield, the World Cup winning midfield of Griezmann, Rabiot, and N'Golo Kante. It's and you're like, why would you start these people? Why would you do it? You know, you have Kamavinga, Oluwalu Chouameni. Like, why are you? This is why. This is why. You know, exactly, Snark. 71% of Earth is covered by water. The other 29% is covered by N'Golo Kante. You know, unfortunate Arsenal fact. There is a point in the game where Austria is challenging, and William Saliba, first start, by the way, in a major tournament for the French team.
Was so surprised he started this match.
Me too. He was a little nervous. He made a little mistakes, but then he settled down most of the game. And then at the end, where there's a clearance that goes awry, and the Austrians, you know, go on the break, and the Austrian guy has a full grasp towards the ball, but then out of nowhere, just jumping out of the screen, just out of nowhere, N'Golo Kante slides in and takes the ball away, kicks it back to Magic Mike Mignon, and Mignon clears it away. N'Golo Kante just came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And you're just like, what the hell was that? You know, but overall, I think, you know, I think France's backline dealt with the Austrian pressure well. And I think Austria switched it up on them. That's why I confused the French a lot, because, you know, they're coached by Ralph Rangnick, the godfather of gegenpressing, the creator of the way German football is now done, especially the RB Academy or the RB teams, the Red Bull teams, Leipzig, Salzburg, Red Bulls, RB Bregamento, and the Brasileão. They play a certain way of high press, high octane ball. But Rangnick with the Austrian team adjusted. They pressed. They sat in a low block. They moved forward. And then when they attacked with full force. And they kept coming back and forth. And France didn't know what the hell to do. They didn't know what to do. They had to adjust. And I honestly think if they had David Alaba, I know he's a defender. You know, people are like, oh, it's a defender, Fares. What does that have to do? But David Alaba doesn't just play defense for Austria. David Alaba plays defense, midfield, striker. He's played a striker for Austria.
David Alaba plays wherever David Alaba needs to play for Austria.
Exactly. So they could have won this game. You know, 1-0 win does not indicate how well Austria played. They played very well, and France was extremely disappointing. I was very disappointed in the way they played. They were wasteful in front of goal. France should have scored more than one goal, but Austria played a very solid game to speed up the French attack, and they had to, you know, you're wasteful for a reason. You're not wasteful because you're wasteful. You're wasteful because, you know, you're mentally sped up or you're mentally tired, and that happens because the other team is going after you. And that's what Austria did to the French, you know? Mbappe did get a yellow card. We also want to point that out. And speaking of bleeding, Adelia, Mbappe wasn't the only one bleeding this game.
No, Griezmann was bleeding
as well. Yeah, so Austria also showed that we're not scared. And the goal, everyone gives a lot of credit by Mbappe for that goal. It was horrible defending by Austria on that goal. When you're clearing it, why you clear it when you're headering the ball? Never tilt your head towards goal. Always tilt it away from goal to clear it away from goal. And he tilted from goal, and it bounces trajectory-wise into goal, which is a bad by Vobert, who was at Leeds United with former RB coach Jesse Marsh. You know, he was a part of the Red Bull Academy and the gegenpressing. So he completely failed on that play, but Austria, man, shout out to them. They could be second in this group.
Yeah.
If they want to.
Let's quick hit a few final things and then get out of here. Nadim Bejrami, I think is how you say it, for Albania, scored the fastest goal in the history of the Euros, 23 seconds after Italy. But Italy came back and won 2-1 in that game. So good performance from the Albanians, though. I thought they had a chance of getting destroyed against Italy, and they put up a good fight.
Yeah, it was a goal fest for the first 20 minutes. But then, after Italy got the game back because of Alessandro Bastoni with the goal off the set piece. And then Federico, no, I think it's Barella. No. Yeah, Nico Barella scored a goal. Was it Barella? Let me double check.
It was
Yes, Nico Barella. Yes, it was Nico Barella.
Yeah.
Scoring on the corral and kick. But and then then Italy just kind of killed Albania with 1,000 little cuts by way of their defensive midfielder Jorginho.
Mm-hmm.
Over 120 passes for 120 passes, 100%. The man just killed it. If only he was 25 years old.
Jorginho, it plays very, very well for Italy.
Mm-hmm.
The game of the tournament for me so far is Turkey versus Georgia.
Tremendous.
It's a fantastic game. Unfortunately, hardly anyone's going to have gotten to see it because it was one of the Fubo games.
Oh, amazing.
It was a 2-1 game in the stoppage time of at the end of the game. The goalkeeper for Georgia comes up for a free kick.
Makes sense.
And it is not a successful free kick.
Mm-hmm.
Turkey gets the ball, and Kerem Artugoglu, I probably butchered that, but then runs the length of the pitch with the ball and scores in an empty net. So we had an empty netter in this tournament.
Another hockey reference.
But yeah, hockey reference.
Yeah, it was a great game. The goals were all pretty amazing.
Arda Gurler's goal was
special. God. Oh my God! What a tremendous strike from the box, a howler to be quite honest, a fuakata to be for real.
Yeah.
A fight. Multiple fights did break out in the crowds between the Georgians and the Turkians. The Turks. My bad. The Turkish. I don't know. I don't know why I said Turkians. The Turks.
I don't know why you did either.
Yeah, the Turkish. But here's the thing about Georgia is Georgia had plenty optimal chances to tie the game up.
They did. They had a lot of chances.
Yeah, so it wasn't like 2-1 and then it was a boring defensive stuff. It was like, no, both teams still attacked. They were still attacking, and Georgia had a lot of chances, man. And Georgia, Georgia's kind of like like Wales. They have that one guy, right? That one dude on their team that's the guy. Gareth Bale, in Georgia's case, they have Vicia Kvaratskhelia, and then they also have their goalie who plays for Valencia. Same thing with Wales. They usually had Gareth Bale and like some other guy who played for another club.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the weakest, in the sense they are the weakest team in this tournament because they had to qualify through a playoff through Nations League. They didn't qualify through, traditional Euro qualifying and group play and stuff like that. So they had that way. And Turkey, they're following their youngsters, man. Their youngsters in Arda Güler. Güler, was it Güler or Gular?
Güler.
They actually had a goal disallowed because Hilden Yildiz, who is the young striker for Juventus. Half his foot was offsides. Half his foot was offsides.
This is the semi-automatic offside technology that's coming in the Premier League, which I don't mind at all. It's going to be annoying versus people that are just that little bit offside, but it's so much faster. It's not taking forever to draw lines and stuff. So
no, it's not.
But
overall, it was a tremendous game.
Tremendous game. Let's talk about the last game we saw today. Portugal 2, Czechia 1. The Czechs took the lead in this game.
Yes, they did.
And then an unfortunate own goal tied it up before Francisco Conceição won the game for Portugal in the stoppage
92nd minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Portugal had optimal chances to go up early in the game in the first half. Mistimed runs by Rafael Leao with Bruno crosses. A couple of Cristiano Ronaldo headers hit the post. And then he had another header which then hit. which then was blocked by the goalie, which he blocks it into his teammate's leg, which bounces back into goal. There's only 2 people on this roster that are holdovers from the 2016 Euro team. Only 2.
Ronaldo and Pepe.
Ronaldo and Pepe. It's a completely different team, different coach. The same coach that was in charge of a la Belgium's golden generation, if you want to see it, as Roberto Martinez. He's now being in charge with Portugal's golden generation, because Portugal has a lot of youngsters coming up.
They do.
Rafael, Conceição.
Conceição is 22 years old, I think is what they said.
Giancarlo Ramos, the guy who they benched Cristiano for. Bruno, I know Bruno and Bernardo. They're not young, but they're not really old either. So they have some time.
They're a good midfield for Portugal to have.
Midfield. And then you have Nuno Mendes on the left, and then you have Giancarlo Insigne on the right, and then you have Ruben Diaz in the middle with Pepe. So they have a solid, fluid generation of a bunch of really good players. They have Vitinha, Joao Cancelo. They have Diego Jota, Pedro Neto. So Joao Paulinho. So they have a team that can win this World Cup. They are not a dark horse. Portugal is not a dark horse. People are going to pick them as dark horses, but they're not dark horses to me. They have a legitimate shot to win this World Euros. Them, the English, the French.
Let me tell you why they shot up there with the teams to beat for me today is because they made adjustments that proved to be the right adjustments. Whereas we've seen this tournament refuse to make adjustments and get by because they started well but didn't end well, or make adjustments but not make the right adjustments. Roberto Martinez made the right adjustments today.
Exactly, because that's what he did today, which was tremendous, because it was 0-0 at halftime, and then they scored in the 62nd minute, and he started changing the game. He started seeing, like, what can we do, right? And then he brought in, like I said, Jota, Neto, Conceição, Giancarlo Insigne, Nelson Semedo, and they changed the way they play. They moved. They went from 3 back, 4 back, and they just kept moving around, and proved to the Czechia their depth wasn't as good as the Portuguese depth, because Czechia also used their 5 subs, but their 5 subs didn't impact the game the same way as Portugal's 5 subs, and it just shows the breadth of depth some of these countries have. So yeah, when Conor Gallagher is your first sub off the bench, that's a problem. That's a problem.
It was not the right move to bring Conor Gallagher.
When you need an attacking threat, you don't put on Conor Gallagher. You put on the other Chelsea kid.
Cole Palmer.
Yes.
Yeah. I would have put Cole Palmer on. I agree with that. Cristiano Ronaldo is now the person who's played in the most Euro tournaments ever. He's played in 6, if you can believe that. And Pepe became the oldest player to ever appear in a Euros tournament at 41 years and 113 days. I can't believe he's that old. That's slightly younger than me.
All I'll say is this: it's going to start becoming. He's going to be the oldest person to tie a shoe at a Euro. He's just going to keep breaking records.
I mean, he's breaking records. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But Fares, let's get out of here. That was the first round of the Euros. Round 2 starts tomorrow. We will be back next Tuesday for more. Fares, where can people find you?
You can find me here every Friday. Let's Get Ready Network, the highlights. It is Good Friends, Better Hours, where we talk American football. Me and Caleb talk all things NFC East, New York Giants, and Cowboys. And this Friday, 8 o'clock Pacific, back by popular demand, it is the open table. It is me. It is a deal. We're going to be talking about life, loves, and what it has in store for us. So make sure to show Fridays are with Fares, guys. Remember, Monday through Thursdays for your girl. Fridays are with Fares, and the weekends are for the boys. Remember that.
Sure. Sure. The Open Table is on the Entertainment Channel, which you can find a link to in the description of this episode. Please subscribe over there. We're getting very close to 1,000 subscribers on that channel, and we'd really appreciate it. Also, please subscribe to this channel. We'd really appreciate that as well. And you can find me on the Rewatchers Council on the Entertainment Channel Thursdays, 3 p.m. Pacific. No episode this week, but we'll be back next week with special guest Brendan Marr talking about the episode Innocence from season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I'll be back.
Varys will be back at some point on that show. And you can find me also in a few moments over on our Patreon, patreon.com/LGR_network. We're doing a watch along of The Acolyte episode 4. So check that out and look out for our instant reactions at the end of the episode. That's going to on the Entertainment Channel later tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And until next time, we are out of here.
Remember.